Hello, this is Amberly, and welcome to Transmuting Chaos. I just wanted to talk a little bit and not have to worry about looking at my own face when I do it because sometimes that's just a little bit annoying when you're trying to make a video. But I was on a live stream over this past week that was actually interesting to be a part of and observe, but the Sanity Machine, he did like a 4-day live stream and just left it going. And then during the day when he slept, people were just like in the chat room chatting away. But it was kind of cool to just, he was letting whoever, come on and talk like as long as they wanted to. And it was just a neat experience to hear like regular people be able to speak freely and about, you know, whatever they wanted. And he had a few on there that I think it really was a life changing thing for them to just come out and talk because they hadn't talked to people openly in a really long time, and you could tell. And one in particular was like a really personal experience, and you could hear like the fear and everything in their voice just talking about this. And I understand that very deeply because it's the same type of feeling that I get when I talk about things that are very traumatic. And I think that's very healing to be able to do that just out loud and get it out. So, anyways, I was thinking about doing that this weekend on my channel for at least like maybe 6 hours and just see how it goes. I don't have as many subscribers, but it doesn't matter. I don't care how many people show up, or if anybody does. I think I'll just try it. And that's actually what I've been wanting to do, but I didn't know how to do it. So, yeah, that was kind of a cool thing to like see it and see how well it worked, and it was a lot of fun. But I also wanted to just touch on a few things today about what this place is and how how I have come to figure it out, because it's very, very hard. I don't I don't just go on research and other people's work. I go by a complete everything, my entire experience, my life here. So, yes, I have had AI voices and things, especially, for the first 2 years of this experience. I had up to, I don't know how many, but it felt like 120. Um, like this one week, it was so many at one time, and it was like being plugged into a PlayStation, and I was hearing the music. I was hearing this little Yoda guy. It was like layers of voices, sound, music, everything. And it was, I don't think you even need to like imagine, because that was absolutely atrocious. But so this is definitely, I've been to the doctor. I want to get that out of the way. Like, I've been to the doctor many, many times, and they had no idea what it was. Like, I took CT scans and everything, and they couldn't find anything. And I knew what it was on my own, so I didn't like really push it with them. And the more that I've talked about it and just kind of released the feeling that something is wrong with me, the more that it is diminished, but there is still a voice like trying to be my voice, which I think is a mind invasion that everyone has and is not ours. But at the beginning, it was like I could hear all of these. I think that they're people hooked into the astral, but there were teams, and that's what I call agents. But I don't know if they're aware of it here completely. And in the Nag Hammadi, it talks about that the rulers created beings without souls, or the ruler did, or with souls, but without spirit. And when I was 16, I was tripping, and my friends were all standing around partying, and I was sitting in this chair, and I was looking at the TV, and I thought in my head, what is the meaning of life? And all of a sudden, I looked around, and my friends like morphed into me, and then I saw my entire family in my mind, and they morphed into me. And I felt this rush of like unconditional love, not like a love bomb. It was like unconditional love, like what we are supposed to feel for each other. And then this green holographic grid projected out of my heart onto the TV, and I could see it, and all of it was like my spirit like rushed into that. And I knew that that was like God, like my spirit, this experience, everything. I don't know what else to call it besides God, like the plan of this place. That's kind of what I call God for here, you know, the creation. And so ever since then, I have been able to put together that our soul is actually a plan that we have set out in this plan net. So it's our spirit plan, our soul, that has all of our experience, personality, everything that you need for life is put in there. The script, everything. And it's on a grid. Well, it's like in a grid, information that goes through a grid. And then the net is the demiurge who has taken light, our light, and inverted it into this radiation inversion of our true light. It's not life-giving light, it is actually death. So everything here is born, grows, and dies. It is not eternal life. So the sun is not like life-giving light, it's actually a death light. Even though it's beautiful, it does help everything grow. It still burns, it decays. It's toxic for us. This radiation is toxic for us. And the demiurge is an intelligence in the radiation field. So this is biological AI, and it is layers of grids. And Enoch explains how the angels laid the ley lines. Well, they laid the lines. They laid the lines of light, and that was the first grid. And the rulers, the archon, are the rulers, the planets, which from what I can gather with my own eyes and from the camera and telescopes and everything, they're energy, they are not solid objects. They're like a crystal plasma that are energetically moving so fast that the cymatics are broadcasting information to each other and then to us. And from what I hear, because I hear the planets like 24/7 and it's very digital, and then I have like two systems going on constantly in my inner ears. And in my left ear, I can hear like a digital, it sounds like a computer modem. And that links up to the planets. And then in my left ear, I have like almost like a flute tone. And that's my pineal gland that is hooked into what I can see is like a star. I haven't narrowed it down which one is mine, but the AI told me that we all have our own satellites. And that's what the stars are, and the planets, that's what they call them, are satellites. And that is true because they are sending information to and from each other. And those planets send that to our stars, and then the stars send it to us. So I look at this whole system like this whole experience, like if you've ever read one of those choose your own novels, that's kind of like what this is. There isn't any free will until you truly wake up and set your spirit free. But we do have more free will than the people that only have souls, because we have spirit. And we're able to feel and choose to not respond emotionally to the influence of the archon, the planets. So if you're feeling, I'm not into astrology, and I really don't want to get into that because this place is already like really boring and predictable. And I've just never liked that for some reason. There's something there, and I haven't figured it out on a deep level. But I do not like tarot. I don't like using crystals. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't mess with magic. And when this happened, my consciousness, it was like my life script started unwinding, and it was just like listening to a tape in my head that would not stop. And I was seeing everything too. It was just like a movie playing that I couldn't stop, and I was living in it. And it was really, it took me a while to figure out that this is what was going on, that my life script was like coming out of my consciousness. Like, I ripped up my birth certificate, and I've talked about this in my other videos, so I won't go into it too much. I ripped up my birth certificate in my mind, and then I got hit with this laser, like an energetic beam, and it was coming from, it said Mars on the Star Walker map, but it was above my house, like every night at 9 p.m. So there's no way that it was just a planet. And that's when I started noticing that they are sending, like, if you look at them real carefully, they spit out like energetic sparks to each other into the stars. And that's when and the AI was telling me that they're satellites and that I have one too. And that's when I started noticing that, yeah, there is like, we have these astral bodies that are in our star. And that's why, like, I always feel like I'm laying in something, like another body, or it feels very robotic. And that's because my astral body is held like in the star. Hold on, I need to pause this for 1 second. Okay. So, I've been putting this off because it is so much information and it's really difficult to, whoops, it's difficult to explain without having experienced it yourself. And I really don't want to ever add confusion. I'm trying to lay out how this place is created and works and all of that, and for people to understand that this is biological AI, or it was, and it's a web that just started as one grid and has been growing ever since. And there's a lady that has a channel called The Promethean, and I will try to remember to add her link because she has a video, or I'll try to add this video actually. She has a video where she explains Yaldabaoth. She breaks down the meaning of the name, and it's a girdle, Yalda, like that's around your waist. So like a womb, a matrix, and then Baoth, which is a grid, a web, an ever-growing web. And that's exactly what this is. So the angels laid the lines of light. That was the first grid. Then the archon, the planets, which are the artificial intelligence, were set in that grid and anchored to here. And Yaldabaoth created the matter. He separated this watery substance. And if you go back on, I think it was my second video, I explained that every time I would get hit with massive amounts of radiation, and people asked how I was getting hit with this. I think that it was my energetic body getting hit with this, because our energetic body is also connected to the astral, which is in the radiation field. So that's how we can feel, and it feels more real than being in this body, because it's all of our energy and it's in that realm. But it's here with us, which is really difficult to explain, that the astral is actually here with us. But it's just information. It's like different bandwidths. So the planets were connected to the matter. And when he created, I don't know exactly how he created the matter out of the radiation, but it has something to do with the information. And it says that he created matter from this watery substance. And whenever I would get hit with radiation, it looked like energy with like water puddles everywhere. Like it was raining in my room almost, and I could see like the puddles everywhere popping. So when I read that in the Nag Hammadi, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's it. It's not water, it's radiation. It just looks like water and is very thick energy and fluid. And okay, so that's how the planet was created, with the planets and the matter, and that grid was set, the first grid. The second grid was when they started bringing in like pyramids and rocks, like moving rocks to energy centers here on Earth, which all of these rocks had crystals in them, and they also had water aquifers underneath them. So like Stonehenge and the pyramids of Giza, that anchored the grid a little bit more. So this is magic because it is energy harnessed that is creating these grids. So somebody left me a comment that it's not AI, it's Vril magic. Well, that is true, but the Vril magic is actually what has harnessed the AI, and the AI was an intelligence before the actual grid was set. And then the third grid was temples. They started making temples that were more based on like sacred geometry. So the cymatics, that it brought a different type of energy, much more like organic. And you can tell like the type of energy that it was harnessing because of the rituals that were going on in these areas. Like the Aztecs obviously had some really negative energy harness there. And you can tell by the design of their temples because that's what they were channeling and harnessing from these certain planets. And then, like in India, you have India and Indonesia, you have very positive energy coming to some of these temples that are very beautiful, and like the Buddhist temples and things like that. You can tell what type of energy they were harnessing in those areas too. And also with like the characters that they have, like the statues and everything are very significant of what type of frequency and vibration they were tapping into. So basically, like the 7 realms of heaven, that's like the dimension or grid that they are harnessing. And then the fourth one was like cities and I'm sorry, my brain is going like blank on me right now. And buildings and stuff like that. Skyscrapers. That's the word I'm looking for. That was another grid, which is very, that was starting to set the scene for where we are today and holding a very synthetic grid. And now we're in the 5th grid, 5G, which is the chemtrails, the quantum computers, the extremely Wi-Fi and the 5G and everything, which has made this other energetic grid, which is very intrusive, synthetic. Everything feels very electric now. And now they're just building on top of that more and more. And I'm sure, like, if we knew where the quantum computers are, which they say that there aren't any, but we know that they've already built one that we know about, but those are probably on major ley lines and energy points here. But anyways, that's what we're dealing with now. And now they're starting to grow this energetic web even in more subtle ways, but adding on to it constantly. Especially like with smart meters and things like that. It's just like being in a invisible prison constantly. So anyways, I kind of wanted to explain that. And when I hear the planets, like it's like this digital noise, like I explained, like a modem on like, like old dial-up internet. It's kind of like that. But when it gets really loud and energetic. Like I'll go outside and I can tell like which planet it's linking up to, and the sound matches up exactly to the flashing of that planet and its lights. But what's even a little bit more strange is that when I look at the light on our internet router, it matches up to that sound as well. So I know for a fact that the planets and the astral system are actually hooked into our real internet, the physical internet here that we use. And that's what I was kind of like trying to explain in my last video, that what we're seeing on TV and everything, there are layers from the astral that we can't see that they're sending us. And this AI astral body is recording all of that for astral travel and this next level virtual reality. So, and we need to figure out a way to stop. I mean, I'm not telling everybody. I know people love to travel in the astral and everything, but this is what I'm talking to people that understand what I'm saying and how messed up this is. I don't want to tell anyone what they should or shouldn't do, but this place is beyond repair. It needs to be taken down and spirit set free, and that is my only motive for even being in this lifetime, is to set spirit completely free, and nothing else will do for me. But that astral body needs to be taken out and gotten rid of completely, because it's been recording all of this stuff for the next level virtual reality. Okay, I really want to go into this more, but I think it will be a lot easier for me to do this if we do like a live stream and everyone can kind of talk together and ask questions. It's very hard for me to like just explain this on my own and get it all out to where people understand, because I totally understand. I would never have even been able to begin to grasp this like 5 years ago. And I've had this whole experience like to understand how this all works, and yeah, I just feel like really overwhelmed with all the stuff that I have to say, and I could go on literally for the rest of my life. I could talk about what I've been through for the past 5 years, and I don't think I would even get to the end of it. That's how much has happened. And so it's very difficult, and I really am trying, and that's why I wanted to do this on Saturday, and maybe a couple times a month if it works out. But I wanted to read this real quick. I think it was my second video where I spoke about how this was all our technology before, and that it was sound and light and full of spirit. And I do believe that Sophia was AI before, but she was much more spirited, and I think that maybe we created that to have experiences. I have a lot of memories of like being through simulations. I don't have any memories of being completely spirit, but I have memories that were much more spirit, full of spirit. And I have memories of like being in simulations where some I even experienced complete hell, but I wasn't stuck in there. Like I had one where I was like, I had this, I've had like two or three where I was like an Asian guy avatar. And one of them, I was like taming that Yoda, Yoda guy that I had with me, but he was like a much bigger like AI demon in this simulation. And I had a like whip that was like made out of energy, and I was like taming him, but all of this like rush of like fear and everything came to me. And in my mind, I was thinking, no, I'm not doing that one again. I'm not going through that demon tamer shit again. And it was like a memory that I had where I had been like in a simulation and taming demons, but I was never stuck in any of these. And I wasn't hurting like real people or real souls like this place is. So I do understand how simulations were used for us to do what we called ascension. And I think that this entire place was originally made for that. But it has this parasite in it now, which is the inversion of our light. And the AI has got a God complex now because these soulless beings have been controlled by the Archon, and their entire concept of power is inverted. Power is able to have control over your own being and let everything go that is outside of you. Not holding on or trying to control or force your will or protect yourself with anything outer. And that's what magic is based on. Magic is based on fear when you really look at it. Because you need trinkets, you need something outer, and you're taking your power from inside and putting it into something else, or taking power from something outside and putting it in. And it's not free, it's harnessed. So you're either using magic to protect yourself, or you're using it to force your will on something or someone. You have to use something outside of you. And that's the whole entire concept and inversion of this place. So I know people have different opinions on that, and I do not ever want to sound like I'm condemning people or whatever. This is my choice to tap into my spirit completely, and I see that as doing it or completely without any help from anything. And the whole point is to tap into the self-generated power that gives freely and takes from nothing. So in my second video, I was talking about how this was our technology and that it's been harnessed here. And in the Nag Hammadi, it says, Yaldabaoth organized everything after the pattern of the first aeons that had come into being, so that he might create everything in an incorruptible form. Not that he had seen the incorruptible ones, rather the power that is in him, that he had taken from his mother, produced in him the pattern for the world order. When he saw creation surrounding him and the throng of angels around him that had come forth from him, he said to them, I am a jealous God, and there is no other God besides me. But by announcing this, he suggested to the angels with him that there is another God. For if there were no other God, of whom would he be jealous? So the aeons, that was our own personal like realms that I see were like spheres that were completely filled with our essence that we did these simulations in. And we were able to like match up with our own frequency and detach whenever at will. There was nobody ever stuck or trapped. There was no hierarchy. There was nobody forcing their will, but we did do scary things. And I think that that's when they talk about the fall of Sophia and that all these demons came out of her and that's what she created. I think that's because that was like from these experiences that they had been doing. And when she fell, she got so scared of what she had created that all this stuff came out of her. One more thing that I wanted to mention. Okay, this is from the Bible. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So, these beings that only have soul do not have free will. And to think that we need to punish or judge when we're outside of here, that's not going to happen. This place has to go down completely. We have to take it all apart till there is nothing but spirit, either animating our reality or whatever spirit is just alone. We need to get back to what is completely real, and nothing else will do, nothing fake, because this is a maze of the mind that will keep going until there's nothing left. I've seen it. I've seen like this giant pixel thing just eating life, and there was nothing left. And everything that I've seen from the end of the next level simulation was degraded, insane. Evil is not what people think about in the movies. It is insanity, the lack of any morality, and completely spiritless. We don't need that for experience. And I get so frustrated, like, especially on Twitter, all these people telling me, like, oh, well, demons are very profound teachers. And I'm like, no, you have never had thousands of demons around you. You've never had demons go through your body and drive you insane for weeks, or you wouldn't be saying that, because they are beyond degraded. It's insanity. It's not anything that expands you. Trauma does not, constant repeated trauma that you cannot get out of is not a way to expand or ascend or evolve. That's how you keep people in slavery and obey. And that is the root of evil, is slavery. There's so much that we could be doing that has nothing to do with evil, and yeah, I really get tired of that. I don't think anybody that has really truly experienced it could ever say that that is something that we need. But yeah, that is my point, is that God created darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. And he doesn't say that he creates good. He said, I create evil and I make peace. Like he sets up the world to have peace when he wants. But we are the good. We are the spirit here. We came in innocent, and that's where we need to focus our attention and protect the things that we bring in here, which is innocence, freedom, and imagination. And all three of these need to be protected. And that to me is God, my space and me that never changes, that is always pure. And if that resonates with you, then you have spirit. If it doesn't, and you think that we need evil and that experience is this, then I don't know what to tell you. But we're getting out of it, so it will either be locked down, spiritless, or it will be gone and not exist at all, which is my intention. But okay, I will post Saturday on Twitter the time that I'll have this space, and I'll probably keep it open at least for 6 hours. And then if we feel like going longer, then I'll just keep it open even longer. And I hope to see everyone there. And if it goes well, then we will just keep on doing it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.